The word leaves my mouth before my brain can stop it. Baby, I freeze. My phone slips from my hand and hits the marble floor of the hotel lobby with a crack that echoes like a gunshot. The man in front of me, 6'3" of tailored Italian suit and controlled danger, goes absolutely still. Not the kind of still where someone pauses, the kind where a predator decides whether you're prey or entertainment. His dark eyes lock onto mine, and I watch something flicker there. Amusement, maybe. Or hunger. The distinction feels terrifyingly thin. What did you just call me? His voice is low, accented. Italian, I think, though it's smoothed by years of English, the kind of voice that could order an espresso or an execution with equal ease. My mouth opens, closes. I meant to say, "Excuse me," to get past him in the lobby, but my best friend had just texted me about her actual baby keeping her up all night, and my exhausted brain misfired spectacularly. Nothing, wrong person, I bend to grab my phone, desperate to escape, but he moves faster. His hand closes around my wrist. Not painful, but absolute. I don't think so. He pulls me upright with embarrassing ease, and suddenly I'm close enough to smell his cologne, something dark and expensive that probably costs more than my rent. You said it. Now say it again. That was an accident. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. I don't even know you. No, he agrees, still holding my wrist. His thumb rests against my pulse point, and I know he can feel my heart hammering. But you will. Something in his certainty makes my stomach drop. Or flip. I'm not sure which is more dangerous. Let go of me. I try to sound firm, professional, like I'm the kind of woman who gets manhandled in hotel lobbies every day and finds it mildly inconvenient. He smirks. Actually smirks. Make me, Bella. 28 years on this planet, and I've never once considered violence as a solution to social awkwardness. Until now. I'll scream, I inform him. You won't. He releases my wrist but doesn't step back. If anything, he moves closer, and I'm trapped between him and a marble pillar that's probably older than both of us. You're too curious about why I haven't walked away. Damn him for being right. I should be terrified. This man radiates danger the way other men radiate insecurity or cologne. Everything about him screams money and power, the watch that costs more than my car, the way the hotel staff deliberately don't look at him, the two men in dark suits hovering near the elevator who are definitely not here for a dental convention. But I'm not scared. Not exactly. Who are you? I ask instead. Someone you just called baby. His eyes trace my face like he's memorizing it. I'm deciding if that was fate or fortune. It was autocorrect, I lie. Your mouth doesn't have autocorrect, Piccola. My brain does. It's called exhaustion. I cross my arms, which is a mistake, because it just makes me more aware of how close he's standing. I'm a photographer. I've been shooting a wedding upstairs for 12 hours. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep and hotel coffee. You were in my way. My brain malfunctioned. It happens. A photographer. He says it like I've just revealed I'm a spy. You're American? Last time I checked my passport, yes. Alone in Rome? The question feels loaded. Is that your business? Everything in this hotel is my business. It's not a boast. It's a statement of fact, delivered with the kind of casual certainty that makes me believe him. I glance around the Hotel Impero's opulent lobby, the Baroque architecture, the Renaissance paintings, the obscene flower arrangements that probably cost more than my entire camera setup. You own this place? I ask skeptically. My family does. He tilts his head, studying me with unnerving focus. Along with several others, which means you've been working in my building for 12 hours without me knowing about it. I don't like surprises. Then you're going to hate what I do next, I mutter. Which is, walk away and pretend this never happened. I try to step around him. He moves with me, blocking my path with economical precision. You think I'm letting you disappear after you called me baby in front of 40 witnesses? His voice drops lower, and I feel it in my spine. I have a reputation, Bella. People don't speak to me that way and walk away. What do they do? The question escapes before I can stop it. His smile is dangerous. They apologize, extensively. I'm sorry, I say flatly. There, extensive enough? No. He reaches out and I should move, should duck away, but I don't. His fingers catch my chin, tilting my face up to his. Say it again. Say what? Sorry? The other word. My breath catches. No. Why not? His thumb brushes my lower lip, and my knees forget how to function. You said it so naturally before, like it belonged in your mouth. The other word. My breath catches. No. Why not? His thumb brushes my lower lip, and my knees forget how to function. You said it so naturally before, like it belonged in your mouth. This is insane. I'm standing in a hotel lobby letting a stranger touch my face like he owns it, and instead of screaming or running or doing any of the sensible things, I'm wondering what he'd do if I actually said it. You're out of your mind, I whisper. Probably. His hand drops, but he doesn't step back. What's your name? Why? Because I'm going to need it for the paperwork. What paperwork? When I hire you. His phone buzzes and he glances at it with clear irritation before looking back at me. My sister is getting married in 3 weeks. Her photographer just quit. You're going to replace him. I laugh. I can't help it. I'm booked for the next 6 months. Cancel them. That's not how running a business works. I'll pay triple your rate. He says it like money is a concept he invented. Plus expenses, plus a bonus if my mother likes you. I don't even know your name, I protest. Dante. He offers his hand like we're sealing a deal, not like he just derailed my entire evening. Dante Rossi. The name hits me like ice water. Rossi. As in the Rossi family. As in the reason my hotel research warned me to avoid certain neighborhoods in Rome. As in the Mafia family that's been running this city since before the Colosseum needed renovation. I must go pale because his expression shifts, not to concern, but to satisfaction. You've heard of me, he observes. I've heard rumors. My voice sounds far away. About your family. About what you do. And what do I do, Bella? Things that would make me an accessory if I witnessed them. He laughs, actually laughs, and the sound is rich and unexpected and does absolutely nothing to calm my racing pulse. I like you, he declares. You're honest. Stupid, maybe, but honest. I'm not stupid. You're alone in a foreign country, working out of a hotel owned by criminals, and you just insulted the man who could make you disappear. His hand returns to my wrist, circling it completely. That's either stupid or suicidal. Which is it? I should be terrified. His touch is possessive, his words are threatening, and everything about this situation screams danger. But all I can think is that his hand is warm, and my wrist fits inside it like that's where it was always meant to be. Neither, I manage. I just don't scare easily. You should. He leans closer, and I can feel his breath against my ear. I'm not a good man, Piccola, and I don't make offers twice. Then it's a good thing I'm refusing the first time. I pull away, and this time he lets me. But his eyes follow me as I back toward the elevator, and I can feel the weight of his attention like a physical touch. You didn't ask how much, he calls after me. I shouldn't engage. I should get in that elevator and never look back. How much? The words escape anyway. 50,000 euro? He's still watching me with that unsettling focus. For 3 weeks of work, plus accommodations, plus protection. Protection from what? From everyone who isn't me. The elevator dings, the doors slide open. I have approximately 3 seconds to make a decision that will either save my life or ruin it. I need to think about it, I hear myself say. You have until tomorrow morning. Dante pulls a card from his jacket, black, minimal, just a phone number embossed in silver. He crosses the distance between us in 3 strides and tucks it into my camera bag with proprietary ease. Call me by 9, or I'll come find you. How will you find me? His smile is all teeth. Piccola, I found you 30 seconds after you called me baby in my hotel. You think I won't know which room you're in? The elevator doors start to close. I catch them, heart pounding. This is insane, I tell him. Yes, he agrees, but you're going to say yes anyway. How do you know? He steps close enough that I have to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. Close enough that hotel staff are definitely staring now. Close enough that I can see gold flecks in his dark eyes. Because you're still standing here, Bella, and because when you said that word, his voice drops to something intimate and dangerous. You looked at me like you meant it. The doors close before I can respond. I ride up to the 8th floor in stunned silence, my reflection in the mirrored walls showing a woman who looks nothing like the professional photographer who checked in 3 days ago. My hair is falling out of its bun, my makeup is smudged from the long shoot, and my eyes are too wide, too bright. I look like someone who just met trouble and didn't run fast enough, or didn't want to. My hotel room is small but adequate. A queen bed with crisp white linens, a desk cluttered with camera equipment, a window overlooking a side street where Italian life buzzes past in a symphony of Vespas and shouted conversations. I dump my camera bags on the bed and immediately pull out the black card. No name, just a number. The cardstock is heavy, expensive, the kind of thing that costs more to print than my entire business card budget. I should throw it away. I photograph it instead. A habit from years of documenting everything, but also insurance, evidence, I don't even know. My phone buzzes. A text from my best friend Maya. How's Rome? Meet any handsome Italians yet? I stare at the message for a long moment, then type, define meet. Her response is immediate. Ooh, details. I hesitate, then send, accidentally called a Mafia boss baby in a hotel lobby. He offered me $50,000 to photograph his sister's wedding. I think I'm having a stroke. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Finally, what? Exactly. Are you serious? Unfortunately. Liv. What Mafia boss? What's his name? I bite my lip. Dante Rossi. The dots pulse for a full minute. Olivia Grace Chen. Are you talking about the Dante Rossi? The guy who basically owns half of Rome? The one they call Il Diavolo? The devil. Of course they do, apparently. And he offered you a job? After I accidentally called him baby, yes. How does one accidentally... You know what? I don't care. Are you taking it? I don't know. It's the Mafia, Maya. Mafia, as in organized crime, as in illegal activities, as in things that get people killed. It's also 50,000 euros. That's like your entire annual income in 3 weeks. She's not wrong. My photography business is successful enough to keep me traveling and fed, but 50,000 euro? That's pay off student loans and upgrade my equipment money. That's financial security for a year money. That's enough to make me consider working for a man who probably has bodies buried under his hotel money. I can't, I type. It's too dangerous. You're already in his hotel, Maya points out with infuriating logic. If he wanted you disappeared, you'd be disappeared. The fact that he's offering you a legitimate job means he wants you around for legitimate reasons. Define legitimate. Okay, fair. But Liv, when was the last time something exciting happened to you? I want to argue, but I can't. My life is airports and hotel rooms and wedding after wedding after wedding. Beautiful, sure. Profitable, absolutely. But exciting? Not since I left New York to travel full-time 2 years ago. This is different, I type. This is dangerous. So don't do it. Maya sends it without any of her usual emojis, which means she's being serious. But don't say no because you're scared. Say no because it's the wrong choice. There's a difference. I set my phone down and walk to the window. Rome sprawls below me in terracotta and gold, ancient and alive. I came here to photograph someone else's love story, but I'm leaving with a black card burning a hole in my camera bag and a man's voice in my head saying you're going to say yes anyway. The thing is, I think he might be right. Not because of the money, though, that's certainly appealing, but because of the way he looked at me when I said that word. Like I'd cracked something open that he'd kept locked for years. Like I'd challenged him without meaning to, and he'd decided I was worth keeping around to see what I'd do next. Like I was interesting. When was the last time someone looked at me like that? My phone buzzes again. Not Maya this time. An unknown number. You're thinking too hard. I can feel it from here. I stare at the message. Then at the black card. Then back at the message. How did you get my number? You work in my hotel. I have your contract from the bride's family. I have everything, Piccola. The casual invasion of privacy should anger me. Instead, I'm fascinated by his confidence. That's called stalking. That's called due diligence. What if you were a threat? A threat? I'm a photographer. So you say. But I've learned not to trust beautiful women who appear out of nowhere. I read that message 3 times. Beautiful. He called me beautiful like it's a fact, not a compliment. I didn't appear out of nowhere. I was hired for a wedding. And now you're hired for another one. My sister's. I haven't agreed yet. But you will. His certainty is infuriating. You're very sure of yourself. Yes. Just that. Yes. One word, no explanation, no justification. I should be annoyed. Instead, I'm smiling. What if I'm booked? I type. What if I can't cancel my other clients? You can. You're freelance. I checked. Of course you did, I told you. Due diligence. I pace my small room, phone clutched in my hand, divided between exasperation and something that feels dangerously like excitement. Why me? I send. There are hundreds of photographers in Rome. Why not hire one of them? The response takes longer this time, long enough that I think maybe he's not going to answer. Then, because you looked at me like I was human, not a monster. And then you looked at me like you knew exactly what kind of monster I am, and you still didn't run. I find that intriguing. My breath catches. Intriguing enough to pay $50,000? Intriguing enough to want you close. The money just makes it easier to justify. I sit on the edge of my bed, heart racing. This is insane. This is dangerous. This is exactly the kind of situation my mother warned me about before I left for Europe. Strange men, too good to be true offers, promises that come with unspoken prices. But my mother also raised me to trust my instincts. And my instincts are saying that Dante Rossi is dangerous, yes, but not to me. Not yet, anyway. I need guarantees, I type. If I do this, and that's a massive IF, I need to know I'm safe. You'll be safer with me than anywhere else in this city. That's not an answer. It's the only one that matters. You'll stay in my home. You'll travel in my cars. My people will know you're under my protection. No one will touch you. What about you? The typing indicator appears, disappears, appears again. I make no promises I can't keep, Bella. But I won't hurt you. That's the only guarantee that matters. It should sound ominous. Instead, it sounds like the truth. I look at the black card again. At the number I haven't called yet. I need to sleep on it, I send. You have until 9 a.m. After that, I'll assume you ran, and I'll come find you anyway. Why? Because you called me baby, Piccola. And I want to hear you say it again. He doesn't send anything else. I stare at my phone for 5 full minutes, waiting for another message, another explanation, anything. Nothing comes. I should be relieved. Instead, I'm disappointed. I don't sleep. I try. I shower. I change into pajamas. I lie down in the too soft hotel bed and close my eyes. But every time I drift toward unconsciousness, I hear his voice. You're going to say yes anyway. At 3 a.m., I give up and open my laptop. Research. That's what I need. Facts, information, context to make this decision based on logic instead of the way my pulse jumped when he touched my wrist. I type Dante Rossi Rome into Google. The results are extensive. News articles in Italian and English, society page photographs, business journals, and underneath it all, the darker threads, the rumors, the whispers, the carefully worded warnings about the Rossi family's traditional business interests. I click on an image result, Dante stares back at me from a charity gala photograph, looking exactly like he did in the lobby, dangerous in a tuxedo, commanding attention without trying. The woman on his arm is gorgeous, draped in diamonds, smiling for the camera. The caption identifies her as Elena Vittori, daughter of another prominent Italian family. I shouldn't feel jealous. I have no claim on him. He's a stranger who grabbed my wrist in a lobby and offered me money, but I stare at that photo longer than I should, analyzing the space between them, the way his hand rests on her back with possession but not affection. Another tab, another search. Rossi family Rome Mafia. The results are more explicit here. News reports about investigations that went nowhere, trials that ended in acquittals, witnesses who recanted or disappeared, a family tree that stretches back generations, roots deep in Sicilian soil, branches spreading across legitimate businesses and illegitimate power. Dante is listed as the current head of family operations. Il Diavolo, the devil, age 34, unmarried, heir to an empire built on fear and loyalty in equal measure. I should close the laptop. I should pack my bags and catch the first flight out of Rome. Instead, I keep reading. There's a profile piece from last year, a rare interview where Dante actually spoke to press. The journalist asks him about the rumors, the allegations, the whispers that follow his family name. His response is printed in full. My family has been in Rome for 5 generations. We've built businesses, created jobs, supported communities. If people choose to believe rumors over results, that's their choice. I don't justify myself to anyone. The journalist presses, but the accusations of criminal activity have never resulted in charges. I'm a businessman. Nothing more, nothing less. And your reputation for being difficult? I protect what's mine. That's not difficult. That's necessary. I read that last line 3 times. I protect what's mine. He said something similar earlier. You're under my protection, as if I could become something that belongs to him. The thought should terrify me. Instead, it sends heat curling through my stomach. At 6 a.m., I give up on sleep entirely and start going through my schedule. Maya was right. I'm freelance. I have 3 weddings booked in the next 3 weeks, but 2 are flexible with dates. And the 3rd... I pull up the email thread with the bride. She's difficult, demanding. The kind of client who adds just one more thing to every conversation and expects miracles on a budget. I've been dreading this wedding for months. I could cancel. I could refund her deposit and free up my schedule for 50,000 euros, for 3 weeks in Rome, for a job photographing a wedding for a family that probably has more secrets than guests, for a man who looked at me like I was a puzzle he couldn't wait to solve. At 7:30 a.m., I'm sitting at the desk in my hotel room, camera in hand, reviewing yesterday's wedding photos. They're good. Professional. Exactly what the couple wanted, romantic, soft-lit, full of laughter and tears and joy. Beautiful. Safe. I think about Dante's face when I called him baby. The surprise that flickered there, quickly replaced by something predatory and fascinated. I think about his hand on my wrist, the way his thumb found my pulse like he was checking to see if I was real. I think about his text. I want to hear you say it again. At 8:45 a.m., I pick up the black card. At 8:47, I dial the number. He answers on the first ring. You're early. His voice is rough, like I woke him, though I doubt Dante Rossi is the kind of man who sleeps past dawn. I had conditions, I say instead of hello. Name them. I take a breath. I need my own space, a room with a lock. Agreed. I need creative control over the photos, no censorship, no editing without my approval. Agreed. I need a contract, in writing, with clear boundaries about what I'm photographing and what I'm not. My lawyer will have it ready by noon. And, I pause, I need you to stop calling me Piccola. Silence. Then, quietly, why? Because I want to know you see me as a professional, not a pet. I see you as both. His honesty is unsettling. But fine, I'll save it for when you're not working. That's not... Those are my conditions, Bella. Take them or leave them. I should argue. I should demand respect, set firmer boundaries, establish a professional relationship that doesn't include possessive nicknames or loaded silences. Instead, I hear myself say, "When do I start?" "Now." The satisfaction in his voice is palpable. "Pack your things. My driver will be there in 20 minutes. "I haven't even checked out." "Already done. Your bill is paid. Dante." "And Olivia?" He says my name like he's testing how it tastes. "Welcome to the family." He hangs up before I can respond. I sit in stunned silence, phone pressed to my ear, listening to dead air. 20 minutes. I look around my hotel room, the camera equipment scattered on the desk, the clothes draped over chairs, the organized chaos of a woman who lives out of suitcases. This is insane, but I'm smiling as I start to pack. The car that pulls up outside the Hotel Impero exactly 20 minutes later is not a car. It's a statement. Black Mercedes S-Class, windows tinted so dark I can't see inside, chrome details gleaming in the Roman morning sun. The driver who steps out is older, maybe 60, with silver hair and the kind of military bearing that suggests he's seen things that would give me nightmares. "Miss Chen." He offers a slight bow. "I'm Marco. Mr. Rossi sent me to collect you." "Just Olivia is fine," I say, suddenly hyper-aware of my jeans and vintage concert t-shirt. This car probably has a dress code. Marco's expression softens almost imperceptibly. "Miss Olivia, then. May I take your bags?" I have 3, 2 camera cases and a rolling suitcase that contains my entire nomadic life. Marco loads them into the trunk with practiced efficiency while I slide into the back seat. The interior is exactly as excessive as I imagined. Leather seats that probably cost more than my first car, a minibar stocked with bottles I can't pronounce, temperature controls that have more options than my camera. The door closes with a solid thunk that sounds like money. "Mr. Rossi is finishing a meeting," Marco says as he pulls into Rome's chaotic morning traffic with the confidence of a man who's done this 10,000 times. "He'll join you at the house for lunch." "The house," I repeat. "How big are we talking? Apartment? Villa?" Marco's eyes meet mine in the rearview mirror. "You'll see." That's not ominous at all. We drive through Rome's center, past the Colosseum and the Forum, through neighborhoods that shift from tourist-crowded to quietly elegant. Marco navigates with ease, occasionally speaking rapid Italian into a hands-free phone, all business and efficiency. "How long have you worked for Dante?" I ask. 23 years. There's pride in his voice. Since he was a boy. "You've known him that long?" "I drove his father before him, and I'll drive his children after." Marco says it like it's destiny, not employment. He has children. "Not yet." The smile in Marco's voice is subtle, but present. But he will. Family is everything to the Rossis. I digest that. "What's he like? As a boss?" Marco considers the question as we turn onto a tree-lined street where the buildings grow larger and more spaced out. "Demanding," he says finally. "Fair. Protective of those who belong to him, unforgiving of those who betray him." He glances at me in the mirror again. "You'll be safe with him, Miss Olivia. That's all you need to know." It's the second time someone's promised me safety in Dante's orbit. I'm not sure if that's reassuring or terrifying. We pull up to iron gates that probably date back to the Renaissance. They swing open silently as Marco approaches, revealing a long driveway lined with cypress trees. At the end sits what I can only describe as a palazzo. "Oh my God," I breathe. 3 stories of honey-colored stone, terracotta roof tiles, windows with actual shutters, balconies dripping with flowering vines. There's a fountain in the circular driveway, marble, elaborate, the kind of thing that belongs in a museum. This isn't a house. This is a estate. "Welcome to Villa Rossi," Marco says mildly, like he hasn't just driven me into a fairy tale. Or a nightmare. Still undecided. He parks near the main entrance, massive wooden doors that look like they could withstand a siege. Before I can reach for the handle, he's already there, opening my door with practiced courtesy. "Your rooms are ready," he says. "Maria will show you up." "Maria?" As if summoned, the front doors open. A woman emerges. Late 50s, warm face, wearing an apron that suggests she's been cooking. She wipes her hands and breaks into a smile that transforms her entire expression. "Olivia!" She crosses to me with surprising speed and takes my hands in both of hers. "Welcome, welcome. We've been expecting you." Her English carries the same musical Italian accent as Dante's, but where his is controlled and measured, hers is effusive and warm. "Thank you," I manage. "You're Maria." "I run the household, 20 years now." She pats my hand. "Come, come. You must be tired from your travels. Let me show you your rooms." Rooms. Plural. I follow Maria into the villa, and my photographer's eye immediately goes into overdrive. The entry hall is breathtaking, marble floors with inlaid patterns, a sweeping staircase with wrought iron railings, frescoed ceilings that belong in a church. Original artwork lines the walls, the kind where you need insurance just to look at them. The villa has been in the Rossi family for 4 generations, Maria explains as we climb the staircase. Dante's great-grandfather won it in a card game, or so the story goes. Won it? The Rossis have always been very lucky at cards. Her smile is knowing, among other things. We reach the 2nd floor, and Maria leads me down a corridor lined with more art, more evidence of wealth that stretches back decades. She stops at a door near the end. "Your suite," she announces, pushing it open. Suite is an understatement. I step into what looks like a luxury hotel room, except personal. Sitting area with vintage furniture, a bedroom visible through an archway, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens that could be on a postcard. There's a desk already set up, large, antique, positioned to catch natural light. "The bathroom is through there," Maria gestures. "And your darkroom equipment is being installed tomorrow." I stop. "My what?" "Darkroom equipment. Mr. Rossi said you might need space to work. We're converting the room next door." She says it like installing a professional darkroom is as simple as hanging curtains. "I work digitally," I say faintly. "Then we'll make it a studio. Whatever you need, dear. Just tell me." I walk to the windows, needing a moment to process. The view is impossible. Gardens stretching toward hills in the distance, Rome visible in the hazy background, morning light turning everything gold. "This is too much," I say. "This is Mr. Rossi's way." Maria's voice is gentle. "When he values something, he shows it. You're important to his sister's wedding. That makes you important to him." I turn back to face her. "I'm just a photographer." "No." She studies me with shrewd eyes. "You're the woman who called him baby and lived to tell about it. That makes you something much more interesting." Before I can respond to that, my phone buzzes. "Unknown number? Comfortable?" I type back, "This is excessive. This is the guest wing. You should see the master suite." Despite everything, I smile. Trying to impress me? Is it working? I look around the room again. The fresh flowers on the desk, the fruit basket on the coffee table, the way every detail has been considered. Maybe. Good. Lunch is at 1. Don't be late. Or what? Or I'll come find you. And I'll be hungry. The implied threat or promise in that message makes my stomach flip. Maria is watching me with barely concealed amusement. "He's texting you already? How did you—" "I've known that boy since he was 15. I know his texting face." She pats my shoulder. "You look like you need rest. I'll bring you coffee and pastries. Lunch is at 1, but that gives you time to breathe." She leaves before I can argue. I sink onto the sofa in my private sitting room in a villa owned by a Mafia boss I met yesterday and try to remember how my life was normal 24 hours ago. My phone is still in my hand. I pull up Maya's number. I'm in his house. Her response is immediate. "What? It's not a house, it's a palazzo. I have a suite with multiple rooms. He's installing a dark room for me. Are you being kidnapped in luxury?" "I don't think so." I called him. I agreed to this. "But Maya, this is insane. This is too much. I'm a photographer from Brooklyn, not—" "Whatever this is. You're a talented photographer who impressed a billionaire criminal. Roll with it. He's not a billionaire." I stop. "Actually, looking around this room, he might be." "Have you seen him again?" "Not since last night. He's in a meeting." We're having lunch at 1. Lunch. Like a date? Like a business meeting, I type firmly. In his house. Where you live now. Super professional. I work for him. Sure, that's what we're calling it. I'm saved from responding by a knock at the door. Maria returns with a tray, espresso in an actual porcelain cup, pastries that look fresh from a bakery, and a small vase with a single white rose. From the garden, she says, setting it all on the coffee table. Mr. Rossi's mother planted those roses. They bloom year-round. That's impossible. The Rossis specialize in impossible things, dear. She winks and heads for the door. Rest. You'll need your energy. When she's gone, I pick up the rose. It's perfect. No blemishes, no wilting, like it was cut this morning specifically for this moment. I photograph it because that's what I do. Capture beautiful things, preserve moments. But as I frame the shot, white petals against antique wood, morning light streaming through historic windows, I can't help but think that I'm not the one in control of this narrative anymore. Dante is, and I have no idea how this story ends. At 12:55, I'm standing in front of my closet, having a crisis. I packed for a working trip, comfortable clothes for 12-hour shoots, professional but practical. Nothing in my suitcase says lunch with a Mafia boss in his ancestral villa. I settle on black jeans and a silk blouse in deep green, the one nice thing I own that travels well. Hair down, minimal makeup, my favorite necklace. Professional but not trying too hard. At least, that's what I tell myself. At exactly 1 p.m., there's a knock on my door. I expect Maria. Instead, Dante fills the doorway. He's changed since last night. No suit, just dark slacks and a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows. It should make him look more casual. Instead, he looks more dangerous, like I'm seeing the real him instead of the public version. His eyes travel over me, slow and deliberate. "Green suits you," he says. "You're punctual." "I told you I'd be here at 1. He offers his hand like a question. "Come, we'll eat in the garden." I should walk past him, ignore the hand, establish boundaries. Instead, I take it. His fingers close around mine with the same certainty as last night, like touching me is natural, expected. He leads me down the corridor, through halls lined with family portraits, I clock at least 3 that look Renaissance era, and out through glass doors onto a terrace. The garden is even more beautiful from ground level. A table is set under a pergola dripping with wisteria, 2 places, crystal glasses catching the sunlight. There's already food laid out, fresh bread, cheese, cold meats, salad that looks like it was picked this morning, wine in a carafe. "Maria's work?" I ask as he holds out a chair. "Mine." He sits across from me, pouring wine. "I told her I wanted privacy." "You cooked?" "I ordered. From a restaurant I own." His smile is quick. "I'm many things, Bella. A chef isn't one of them." I accept the wine glass, our fingers brushing. "How many restaurants do you own?" "In Rome? 7. Across Italy? 23. He says it like someone else might say they have a gym membership. "Just restaurants?" "Hotels, vineyards, import companies, a few clubs." He leans back, watching me over the rim of his glass. Disappointed? Should I be? Most people expect something more exciting, guns and drugs and violence. "And do you do those things?" I ask quietly. "I do what's necessary to protect my family's interests." That's not an answer. "It's the only answer you'll get." He sets down his glass. "Eat. You haven't eaten since yesterday, and you're too thin." "I'm not. How do you know I haven't eaten?" "Because Marco told me you didn't touch the breakfast Maria sent up." I stare at him. "You have people reporting on whether I eat breakfast?" "I have people reporting on everything about you." He says it without apology. "You're living in my home, working for my family. Your safety is my responsibility. That means knowing what you need before you need it. That's called being controlling. That's called protection." He leans forward, and his intensity pins me to the chair more effectively than any hand could. "You're under my roof now, Olivia. That comes with privileges." He gestures to the villa, the food, the obvious luxury. And it comes with rules. One of them is that I know where you are and that you're safe. Always. And if I don't like that rule, then you'll learn to. His smile is dangerous. I'm not a man who compromises on safety. I should be angry. I should throw down my napkin and walk out and call this whole thing off. Instead, I pick up my fork and take a bite of salad. This is really good, I admit. His expression shifts. Surprise, then pleasure. You're not going to argue? Would it change anything? No. Then I'll save my arguments for things that matter. I meet his eyes. Like the contract. I need to see it before I sign anything. Marco will bring it after lunch. He serves himself food with efficient grace. You'll find everything in order. Pay schedule, hours, creative control, termination clauses. Termination clauses? If either party wants to end the agreement. He pauses. Though I should warn you, I don't let go of things easily. The warning sits between us like a third presence at the table. Good thing I plan to fulfill the contract, I say lightly. Do you? I keep my promises. So do I. He holds my gaze. Remember that. We eat in silence for a moment, and I'm hyper-aware of every sound. Birds in the garden, the clink of silverware, the quiet breathing of a man who somehow makes lunch feel like a negotiation. Tell me about your sister, I say finally. The bride. Dante's expression softens almost imperceptibly. Isabella. She's 26, teaching art history at the university. She's marrying a professor, respectable, boring, approved by the family. You like him? I tolerate him. He makes her happy, which is all that matters. That's sweet. Don't make me sound soft, Bella. I had him investigated for 6 months before approving the engagement. Of course you did. I hide my smile behind my wine glass. When do I meet her? Tomorrow. She'll come for tea. She's excited. About the wedding? About you. He refills his wine. She saw your portfolio. She's been talking about you nonstop. I haven't done anything yet. You will. It's not a question. You have a gift. I saw it in your work. The way you capture emotion, not just images. I blink at him, startled by the specific compliment. You looked at my portfolio? I looked at everything. His gaze is steady. Your website, your Instagram, every wedding you've shot in the past 3 years. I know your style, your rates, your client satisfaction percentage. I know you quit a job at a New York marketing agency to travel Europe full-time. I know you're running from something, though I haven't figured out what yet. My throat tightens. I'm not running. Everyone's running from something. He says it gently, like he knows. The question is whether they're brave enough to stop. Is that what you did? Stopped running? I never started. This, he gestures to the villa, the city beyond, is my legacy, my cage, my crown. I was born into it. I'll die in it. That sounds lonely. It is. The admission is quiet. Which is why, when a beautiful photographer calls me baby in my hotel, I pay attention. My pulse jumps. Dante, you asked why I hired you. That's the real answer. He sets down his fork, giving me his full attention, because for 10 seconds you looked at me like I was just a man. Not a Rossi? Not Il Diavolo. Just someone you could call baby by accident. It was an accident. I whisper. I know. His smile is sad, but I want you to say it again anyway. On purpose this time. I can't. Why not? Because I struggle for words. Because if I say it, it means something. And I don't even know you. You will. He stands, coming around the table with predatory grace. You're going to be here for 3 weeks, Olivia, living in my home, meeting my family, learning my world. By the end, you'll know me better than anyone outside these walls. He's standing behind my chair now, close enough that I can feel his presence like heat. And then? My voice barely works. Then you'll say it. His hand comes to rest on my shoulder, thumb tracing my collarbone in a touch that's somehow both innocent and possessive. And I'll believe you. He walks away before I can respond, heading back into the villa. Dante, he pauses in the doorway, looking back. Where are you going? I have work. His smile is knowing. But Marco will bring the contract. Sign it. Explore the house. Make yourself comfortable. You're not a prisoner here, Bella. Then what am I? Mine. He says it simply. Whether you know it yet or not. He disappears into the villa, leaving me alone in the garden with half-eaten lunch and a racing heart. I sit there for a long time, wineglass in hand, trying to catalog exactly how deeply in over my head I am. Then I pull out my phone and take a photo of the empty chair across from me, the half-full glass of wine, the wisteria framing the scene like something out of a dream. Or a warning. I text it to Maya with no explanation. Her response comes within seconds. Girl, run or marry him. No in between. I stare at the message, then at the villa where somewhere inside, Dante Rossi is doing whatever it is Mafia bosses do on Tuesday afternoons. The terrifying thing is, I'm not sure which option I'm leaning toward. To be continued, I thought I understood what I'd agreed to. 3 weeks, 1 wedding, 50,000 euros, a job, a paycheck, a story to tell when I got home. I didn't know I was being collected, claimed, carefully positioned exactly where Dante wanted me, close enough to want him, far enough to keep chasing. Tomorrow I meet his sister, next week his mother. In 3 weeks I'll photograph a wedding for a family that treats loyalty like religion and betrayal like death, but tonight I'm standing in his garden, drinking his wine, living in his home. And the really terrifying part? I'm already wondering what it would take to stay.